Making headlines on the Newsfair's international desk, the half-brother of Afghan President Hamid Karzai has been killed in an assassination attempt. Hamad Wali Karzai, the younger half-brother of the Afghan president and leader of the Kandahar Provincial Council, was shot dead, according to a government spokesperson.
Assistant Commissioner John Yates, who ruled out reopening the inquiry in 2009, will also face the Home Affairs Committee. MPs will speak to the officer leading the current investigation as well. The investigation, called Operation Weeting, is being led by Deputy Assistant Commissioner Sue Akers. Under her lead, detectives are contacting nearly 4,000 people whose personal details were stored by private investigator Glenn Melchior. The committee is expected to ask former Assistant Commissioners Andy Heyman and Peter Clark, the officers who supervised the original police inquiry, why that information was apparently overlooked. Yesterday, former Prime Minister Gordon Brown was said to be shocked after it was alleged the Sunday Times targeted his personal information when he was Chancellor. Documents and a phone recording suggest blagging was used to obtain private financial and property details. Blagging, or knowingly or recklessly obtaining or disclosing personal data or information without the consent of the data controller, has been illegal since 1994.
Senior Metropolitan Police officers will be quizzed by MPs later in public about inquiries into phone hacking at the News of the World. MPs are expected to ask two former officers why the initial investigation in 2005 failed to uncover evidence of hacking of crime victims' phones.
Initial reports suggest that Wali was shot by his bodyguard in his house in Kandahar. A controversial politician, some saw him as a defender of Pashtun rights. Critics said he was a warlord mired in corruption who was openly involved in the drugs trade and had a personal militia at his disposal. The president repeatedly had defended him, denouncing accusations that his brother was involved in criminal activities. Following this morning's shooting, the body of Ahmad Wali Karzai, who was born in 1961, was taken to a nearby hospital. He was a staunch ally of the US and allied forces in Afghanistan, to the extent that they turned a blind eye to accusations he was involved in drug trafficking. Ahmad Wali Karzai had survived attempts on his life before, most recently in a rocket and machine gun attack in 2009, as his convoy was travelling towards Kabul.
Hello there and welcome to Sports First. India's sports minister issued a stern warning to athletes and sports officials by saying harsh punishments would be meted out to them if found guilty of doping. This comes in the wake of 8 athletes failing dope tests, and out of them 3 athletes were from India's 2010 Commonwealth Games and Asian Games gold medal winning women's 4x400 meter relay team.
As a result, the 3 athletes in the women's 4x400 meters relay team missed the opportunity to compete in the recently concluded Asian Games in Japan. In the wake of 8 athletes failing doping tests, the Sports Authority of India suspended coaches for supporting athletes in doping. The first coach to lose his job was Ukrainian Yuri Ogdonik, who trained the women's relay team. Meanwhile, a 4-member team of the National Anti-Doping Agency conducted raids in hotel rooms of players at the Sports Authority of India's centre in southern Karnataka state and took samples for testing yesterday. Briefing media persons on the sidelines of the ongoing raids, the heads of the NADA team, Vijay Ratnam, said that surprise checks are being undertaken on random athletes camping there, including both men and women. The latest doping scandal follows the 122 positive cases reported in an 11-month period starting from May 2010.
On to some cricket news. Ireland closed on 318 for the loss of 8 wickets in the second one-day international played against Scotland in Edinburgh, Scotland today. The Tri-Nation tournament also involves Sri Lanka, who next play tomorrow facing the host nation.
After winning the toss at the Grange Cricket Club ground, Scotland elected to field first. After losing their opening batsman William Porterfield for 21 runs, Paul Stirling and Alex Cusack put up a partnership of 119 runs off 122 balls before Paul Stirling was out for 113 off 95 balls, which included 6 sixers and 10 fours. Alex Cusack and A.D. Pointer then steered Ireland past 250 before Pointer got out for a well-made 51 runs. Big hitter Kevin O'Brien disappointed by falling victim to P.L. Momsen without scoring off the very first ball. Alex Cusack made 71 runs and Trent Johnson's 17 down the order helped Ireland pose a challenging target of 319 for the hosts. P.L. Momsen and J.H. Devi bagged 3 wickets each.
Batting in reply, Scotland were 181 runs for the loss of 1 wicket at the end of 29 overs a short while ago. Moving on, former Argentine soccer player and coach Diego Maradona escaped serious injury yesterday when his car was involved in a collision with a bus near his Buenos Aires home.
Maradona, widely seen as one of the best soccer players in history, underwent routine tests after the accident in the capital's Ezeiza suburb, hospital sources told local media. 50-year-old Maradona is waiting to start a new coaching job at Al Wasl in the United Arab Emirates after failing to keep his last job as head of the Argentine team. Earlier this week, he stepped in to demand more support for Argentina as Lionel Messi, teammates and coach Sergio Batista came under fire from media and fans for their performance at the Copa America.
Sri Lanka has been granted approval to host the 16th Asian Junior Athletics Championship. This was confirmed to News First by the Secretary of the Sri Lanka Amateur Athletic Association, GLS Pereira. The championship, which is organised by the Asian Athletic Association, is scheduled to be held in Sri Lanka during the month of June next year. Well, that's all I have from the world of sports. Back to the main desk.
Thank you, Arundhati, for that sports update.
Now, to keep yourself up to date with regard to all the stories that we're following right here on News First, log on to www.newsfirst.lk or www.italia.com. I'm Shamir Rasuldeen.
And I'm Mahina Bongsu. It was a pleasure having you with us here as always. Take care and good night.